Greetings, friends and enemies. Welcome back to Art by Flam. Today we actually have a bit of fan art. It's sort of subtle, but sort of not. So we're doing a little bit of fan art of my Fallout 3 character, Maria. If you're not familiar with the plot of Fallout 3, the plot of Fallout 3 is that you are living in this underground bunker 200 years after nuclear war has destroyed the earth, and you kind of go, the first part of the game, you kind of go through your life in stages from birth to infancy to childhood to a teenager and such and such. And so one day you wake up and your father has disappeared out of the vault, which is unusual because nobody leaves the vault ever. And in his sort of wake, he leaves this massive array of destruction as it has upturned, you know, the kind of the things of your home and the rules and things that have been set in place. So you leave the vault as well to find him. And it turns out he left to work on something called Project Purity, which was to bring fresh water to the wasteland. And so water is a big theme throughout the whole game. And so what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to draw my character Maria, not exactly drowning in water, but sort of surrounded by it, sort of under it, and just kind of letting herself float as if she's just laid down in it and is just sort of letting it wash away. Because in the process of the game, you lose your father, your mother died during birth, all for this project to bring fresh water to a wasteland without it, and you sort of bring the project full circle. And it's not as bad as everybody likes to think it is. So in the circle of Fallouts, Fallout New Vegas is sort of heralded as the best of the new gen games, and then Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 kind of shit on, which they shouldn't be, because they're all really good games in their own right, and each one of them has things you can sort of hate on specifically, but you know, they're all really good games. And for as much as I love Fallout New Vegas, I also really love Fallout 3. So I just wanted to sort of do some fan art for it of this particular character, because I've done a lot. If you've seen my Instagram, which is linked down below, you'll see I've done quite a bit of art of my Fallout New Vegas character, but not a lot of my Fallout 3 character. And I sort of got this image in my head and I couldn't get it out, and so I figured I would get it out by actually drawing it. She herself is not a very technical character to draw. I didn't do anything particularly special here, but the water effect I do by hand, and I'm so excited for you guys to see that because I'm really sort of proud with how it looks. I was looking for tutorials on how to do it, and a lot of the tutorials I found were really painterly styles, which would really clash with the kind of art that I do, which obviously it's heavy line art, lots of cell shading, and so I was happy to find a tutorial that gave me kind of blended that, but gave me more of a cartoonish outcome for the water, and it still looks pretty great. Another thing I struggled with was the shading on her face. I'm not sure why, it just wasn't working with me. It seemed, with the blue, it seemed too bold and too bright, and I didn't like it until I actually changed the color of it to work better with her skin tone. So as you can see, I kind of fought with it a little bit and ended up just getting something I finally liked, sort of, and it looks better when it's in color. I didn't really, now thinking about it, I didn't really think of the light diffusing through the actual water she's in, so it's kind of, you know what, give and take. Sometimes it's, you know, in the mortal words of Primus, they can't all be zingers. This particular piece didn't take me too long. Honestly, the hair probably took the longest because, as always, there's a lot of it. That's my sort of trademark. If it's not a lot of hair, did I really try it? But yeah, just sort of putting the shading on her vault suit here. And 101 is the vault number where you start out, and it's kind of an iconic vault number for that particular game. So I wanted to make sure that was in there, but not exactly like just spread out like bold. So I just included the one on her neck instead of like doing it from behind or something. I mean, you can see here it kind of jumped. There was like an error and it jumped, and I have half of her hair shaded. First of all, I hit an error where for some reason my external drive was write protected. I don't know how it got set to write protected, but I couldn't save, and so it wasn't letting me do anything. So I had to go in and fix that, and then I forgot to press record again when I started doing her hair. So you're only getting to see me shade half of her hair, but you know, you've seen one side, you've seen both. It's basically the same technique. And I was really worried when my drive popping up write protected. I was like, crap, how do I fix that? Am I gonna have to lose everything? No, I didn't. It was really simple just to erase the to reset that and make sure I could save again. So I didn't lose anything, thank God. And here I am going up and just cleaning up some of the shading and adding that second layer of shading. I wanted a little bit more depth for this one, so I added that second layer, and I think that's something I'm going to continue in other pieces. But when I shaded the picture, I shaded it with my top colors on, so that lets a lot of gaps and a lot of crossover that I couldn't really see with the color on. So I turned it off, cleaned up some of that, and just adding the second layer of shading to give it more depth under, you know, what I normally do. So that's what I'm working on. Again, you can sort of see me working on the hair here. Like, when I envision the picture in my mind, it's always better than when you do it, but I'm pretty happy with what I managed. Like, when I was doing the sketch, I really struggled getting it as flowy as I wanted, which is really surprising considering I really love to draw flowy hair, and normally I draw flowy hair even when I don't mean to, but for this particular instance, I wasn't getting it just the right amount of flowy. There's a certain level of flowy that I wanted to achieve, and I was not achieving it in my initial sketch, but it all worked out in the end, I guess, which is, you know, sort of what you look for in life. Did it all work out in the end? Yeah. Could it have been an easier process? Absolutely. But they can't all be singers. So here I am going into Photoshop and playing with her skin tones. The shading looks really weird on her eyeball because it was not color coded for her eyes yet, so it looked like she had a black eye or something going on, but obviously I fixed that. Just finishing up the shading here. We should be shifting in to me doing the water here in just a second, and I'm really proud of this, and I'm so excited for you guys to see this. So you can kind of see me just painting splotches here, and it's like, that doesn't look like water at all. Here I am blending it, like it still doesn't look like water, but it does all work out in the end, and I'm super proud of it. I'm so glad I found that tutorial. If you want it, I'll put it in the description below, so you too can do cool water stuff. And something about drawing this like reflective watery stuff was really relaxing. It was just drawing a bunch of bean-like shapes over and over again and trying to make it even remotely feel like water, because when I first did the tutorial as practice, it was like I was not getting it, but I took some time out, studied some pictures a bit, and then got what I wanted. This makes it seem like it took much less time than it did. So we're putting it on, and I'm doing some underlayers to get some more shadows to sort of build everything up, and you can sort of see how it looks pretty good right there. But we're shifting into the final piece here in just a moment. There we go. If you like what you see, don't forget to click that like button. You can always leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to see a brand new video from me every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye bye.